So that's why I said that, okay, we need to have an accurate forecast of future business activities. So the people who can answer us the best for the business activities in the future is marketing people, sales people, or accounting people who are the real users of those data. And it should develop contingency plan on input from users and management. For example, we say that, okay, if we have to plan for capacity นะครับ suppose we say that, okay, in terms of the input from users, if there's something wrong, for example, um, if the database is full นะครับ or the connection is full, no new session can be created นะครับ so how can management make a decision นะครับ so that we can just talk to the users นะครับ for example if we say that, okay, if this one is not the urgent นะครับ transaction, for example, if we say that we are running fitness center, every time when the customer just come to our gym, they have to present their member card. The things that we normally have to do is that scan นะครับ to check in for them ครับ and then return the card to the customer. But today นะครับ the scanner is broken นะครับ the inputting method doesn't work นะครับ so the things that we may say that, okay, we should do is that the receptionist just get the card, the member card of the users, and write down นะครับ in a piece of paper for the users, for the members instead, and then return the card to the users. And when the system is fixed already นะครับ the receptionist just like type the member ID in that system, just that นะครับ this is contingency plan that you have to think as well, because sometimes if the system is down นะครับ you have to find the alternative way to help นะครับ and for the last one นะครับ for the maintenance is the system performance management นะครับ in this one นะครับ we have system management tools, system maintenance tool. For the system maintenance tools นะครับ we may use case tool to help as well, because some case tools, they include system evaluation and also maintenance feature. And in addition to case tools, you can also use spreadsheet or PowerPoint to calculate trends, perform what-if analysis, and create attractive charts and graphs to display the results. Or you may use like infographics to help, or you may use data analytics tools, like for example, Tableau or Power BI, in order to show this kind of like the data as well นะครับ okay. After we talk about the maintenance already, the next thing that I'm going to talk about is the system security. Security is the vital part of every computer system นะครับ the concept of the system security, we talk about CIA rectangle, CIA triangle, integrity, availability, and security policy นะครับ let's talk about the CIA triangle first. When we have the information นะครับ CIA stand for confidentiality, integrity, and availability. The information that you have in the organization นะครับ must be kept confidentially. All of them must be integrity, must have integrity, and all of them นะครับ must be available นะครับ for the authorized user นะครับ these are like the CA triangle นะครับ so apart from that one นะครับ the organization must set up the security policy as well. Who can access to the data center physically? Who can log in into your server logically นะครับ you have to set the authorization as well นะครับ the next thing is risk management. Risk management is that whenever we have to set up the security of the system, absolute security is not a realistic goal. Then you have to do the risk identification. You have to think that, okay, in this case or in your system, what can be the risk นะครับ so you have to assess those risks and control those risks how do you gonna avoid, how do you gonna mitigate, transfer or accept นะครับ if that one is possible นะครับ depends on the policy of the company as well นะครับ so that means you have to identify, assess and then control the risk. Some of the risk can be calculated quantitatively, but some of the risk must be the qualitatively um, identified, and then you just like try to control it. After that, when we talk about the attackers or attacks, the attackers profile and attacks. Attack might be launched by a disgruntled employee or a hacker who is 10,000 miles away. They break into a system to cause damage, steal information or gain recognition, among other reasons. So you have to be careful about the information system, because I mean, like, some of the team, when they develop the system, they just develop and they say that, okay, everyone who have the user ID and password can use the system, but sometimes we don't think about the attacking. Then we need to have the security of what to say, the IT นะครับ security what to say officer in order to responsible for this item, for this security. Sometimes some of the large organization may have to hire the white hat hacker in order to test นะครับ of what to say intruding the system and report to them that what's going on นะครับ for the security level นะครับ most of the information system, we have to consider 6 separate but interrelated levels. นะครับ for the security levels, we just think starting from the server first, it is a physical level นะครับ down to network, application, file, procedural and user นะครับ these are like 6 levels that you have to consider. For the physical security, it's the first level of security concerns the physical environment. Physical access to computer represents an entry point into the system and must be controlled and protected. You can see that some of the company, they have LAN cables นะครับ on every desk, and that means if someone can just like plug in those LAN cable into their computer, they can just like go to the internet and use the resource of that company straight away. This one you have to check for the security as well. That, for example, once you plug in, if they do not put, if they do not enter like the correct DNS or correct IP address นะครับ that is assigned to that cable, they cannot use any resources. For example, in MUIC นะครับ it's the same. If we just like, for example, if you just like go to a Jan's office and you see like the LAN cables, you plug in, you cannot use your laptop over there, because I mean, like, for example, if you say that, oh, I want to print my job through the lecturer office, because we have the printer over there. Once you plug in your laptop, it doesn't work, because actually you have to set up the IP address according to the assigned IP address for that cable only. This is the policy that they set up. Okay, right. Apart from that one, we talk about the physical security in the data center นะครับ normally we need to operate the center security as well นะครับ servers and desktop computer and notebook computers นะครับ depends on the levels that we have to use. For example, if you would like to enter this data center, you have to use like retina scanner นะครับ not fingerprint anymore, something like this, so that it will be secure. But some companies, they still use just like the card นะครับ the smart card to tap to unlock the door, something like that. But let's imagine that if you just drop the card somewhere and then you write down that, okay, Mr. A data center, so anyone who just like pick that card, they know immediately that they can open the data center room. If they just like tap that card นะครับ to the what to say the card reader, then they can open up the door, something like that. So that's why in this one we use the biometric device to just like use like at least fingerprints นะครับ but right now many of the data center, they use the retina scan. In this one, in terms of network security, นะครับ you have to think about the wireless network นะครับ that we use in the organization นะครับ private network นะครับ whether we have like the private network in the organization like intranet or not. Do we have to use virtual private network to log in from outside the company as if you are working inside the company or not? Ports and services, what port will you allow the users to connect, and do we have to set the firewalls, the hardware or not? These are security levels that you have to think about. In terms of security levels, we have to think of the application security as well in terms of services, hardening, application permission, input validation, patches and updates, or software logs. These are the things that you have to think when we are talking about the application security. So that means when the time goes by, you may need to have like some two factors authentication for the users who would like to log in into the system instead of using just user ID and password, something like that. And you need to have the logs, the software logs to just like store or keep the log of anyone who just like try to access to the system. Doesn't matter whether they can log in or not. Suppose, let's say we have one person try to log in by using just random number. You have to just like keep the IP address of that machine together with user ID and password that they try to guess, and it causes the error. And sometimes you may say that if they enter the data wrongly for 3 or 5 times, the system is locked for 1 hour before they can just come back to just use that user ID once again. Something like that. You have to keep track as well in the logs. Apart from that application security, we talk about the file security. In here, you have to set up the permission as well. Normally, the system admin or database admin has to set up this kind of file security. Permission. Will you allow that person to read a file only, or to write a file too, or to execute a file? Or that user ID is allowed to read a directory or not, or he or she is allowed to write a directory too. And apart from that permission, you may set up the group of users so that you assign the same permission to them. For example, you say that you set up executive as one group, key users as one group, end users as one group, customer as another group. And in each group, you have same permission, something like that. So you can do it as well, and it is easier. Okay. Next one. We talk about security levels. For user security, we have privilege escalation attack that you have to be careful. When someone is attacking the system, you have to know that, okay, this issue has to be reported to the system admin directly. It might be reported automatically. And if the system admin see this problem already, they have to fix the problem. Otherwise, the privilege of like this issue will be scaled up. Okay, so for the user security, we may have the identity management. We may use password protection in order to protect of accessing some pages. But in this one, social engineering is important. Sometimes somebody is just like got like some social engineering things to ask for password. It's like phishing email, for example. If you say that, okay, some of the message that has been sent to you and say that, okay, your bank account is hacked, please provide us with the user ID and password, and then we will just like let you just like change your password straight away. When you just like enter, you have to know that sometimes it's not. It might be like from somebody else's try to trick you to let you give user ID and password that you have got. This can be one kind of social engineering as well, to let other people to get your personal information without knowing. The next one, Sometimes the security level, users may have some resistance as well. Sometimes you can see that if I say that my company, the data center is very, very, what to say, confidential. Anyone who has to go to use or who has to access to my data center must be the authorized person. And when they have to enter the room, we have to use DNA or blood to check. You can see that the person who has to go to that data center must to have the needle to pinch on their finger every time. I'm sure that users will resist on this one. They don't allow to do so. They will not do it. Okay, this is user resistance. So you have to be careful when you have to set up the security. Sometimes it might be too much for them. Okay. Or sometimes in some company they say that they will use the camera as the user's access checking. But the camera in here, it is a camera that is the X-ray ones. Once the camera, when you just like walk through the camera, it sees everything. Sometimes it like almost a naked ones. That is not okay for most of the people. Then users will resist about this. So the new technology that might come to let the users to use easily. For example, you can see that for the smart card like this, or you can have just like the machine, like the key, the digital key like this. So once the users just entered to like some places or to just like verify themselves, they have to type these numbers that appear from the digital key into the password box or into digital key value box, something like this. But right now we have like some more modern technologies like two factors authentication that you can install the apps on your mobile phone and let it generate the numbers instead of using the digital key like this. Because the digital key like this costs a lot of money and it needs a maintenance as well. That means if you do everything correctly but the battery is flat, you have to send it back to the issuer so that they have to sync the algorithm that they use inside to be matched with the number. Because the number that is we have it here on the screen. If you have a look, the numbers that we have on the screen here will be changed from time to time. So they use the algorithm to calculate these numbers according to the clock time in these devices as well. So that means if the battery is flat, you have to just like let the issuer to just like sync this data once again. So this the digital key here is a security token in this point of view, or sometimes it might be in the form of the flash drive. You plug it in, and then it just like check your security. Sometimes some flash drive in here, the security token may have like the fingerprint scanner on the flash drive as well, so that it will just like validate before you start doing the security checking process. And you also have to think about the procedural security as well in terms of operational security, dumpster diving or paper shredders. In this one, you have to just like check and set up. It depends on the company. Okay. So, okay. Because this afternoon I have to go for the curriculum assessment for computer science program, then I have to just like want to stop my lecture at the security levels here. This late afternoon, I'll come back to talk about the backup and disaster recovery. And then I'll talk about the module number 10 in the first part. So let's talk about next week a bit. So on the next week, when we finish the lecture of module 10 already that might be just let's say 1 hour after 1 hour I mean like around 1 o'clock 1 p.m. on next Monday. When we finish, we will start the presentation. We will start the presentation. Let me just like check on this Wednesday first and see how far we goes. If we can go like a lot That means on 1 p.m. on Monday we can start presentation. Otherwise, all the presentation will be on next Wednesday, right? All right then, everyone up to this point, do you have any questions for the security and maintenance that we have got? Okay. When you talk about weight scale used in employee-free supermarket to prevent customer from unintentional putting products in their bags without scanning barcode, what if they intentional do it? Could the system prevent? The system directly, actually, right now, if they don't wait, if they don't wait, hang on, let me just see. You have a couple of ways to do. The first one, set up surveillance camera on each booth. Second one, you weight the basket. I mean, like, let's say you see that, okay, you may have the basket on two sides. Okay, let me just like do like this first. Okay, this one is the sorry, this is the basket. This is the product that you check already. Suppose you have 10 pieces. The total weight is, let's say 4 kilograms, 4.2 kilograms. Normally, what do we gonna do? This is the basket plus the product is 4.2 kilograms. Actually, you know already that the product that the weight of your basket, let's say it's around like 500 grams, right? So that means after the users just like put all the products in the check, approximately you should have 3.7 kilograms. That means they have to just like scan the product and send to the check basket, do like this until they finish. Suppose they say that, okay, finish, bill me. And if the weight in here is 3.2 kilograms, when the basket, it should be 4.2 kilograms. In here, 3.2 plus 500 grams is 3.7 kilograms only. That means there's something they leave in this basket. You may warn the user first that, okay, warn the customer first that, okay, do you forget something in your basket to scan? Okay, if no, you can check. But if the users just like do cheating, the things that they may do is that, okay, the 500 gram things in here, they put it in their pocket or they put in their handbags. What will happen? It means that the weights are not equal. 3.7 over versus 4.2. This one, you just realize that if your product is lost, that is because of the missing weights in here. But this one, you can see that it is not 100% to prevent. What does it mean? It means that some of the products is very lightweight. For example, if you would like to buy a bag or a sachet of seasoning powder, let's say, the weight, or yeast, one sachet or one small bag packet, it might be just like 5 grams only. You can see that the weight in here may not be able to weight the product is the 5 grams only. And also sometimes the basket itself, the weight of the basket might not be 500 grams sharp. So that's why this one is just like the things that we use in order to measure the products, that the weight is quite heavy. But I mean, like, if the people just like intend to steal, this kind of system cannot stop them. You may have to use some other way else instead. For example, if you say that it's the lightweight, the product that always lost is lightweight, but the price is quite expensive, then you have to use RFID to help. So that means if they don't scan, the RFID is not decoded. When they just like walk away from this booth, it shows the siren or the red light to notify that, okay, or alarm that, okay, there must be some product that this customer hasn't checked and paid, something like that. Okay, so this might be like one techniques that we use in order to just like prevent the customer from stealing นะครับ okay, right. So any other questions so far? Okay, if you don't have any questions นะครับ I'll stop my lecture at this point